Hello and welcome. I do love the sight of a garden in its full summer glory. There's nothing quite like it, is there? All that life and color and fragrance. And it's all the more satisfying to know that these plants are thriving because of the care and attention you've given them. Now, if you're new to gardening, the prospect of starting your own garden might seem daunting, but trust me, it's much easier than you might think. Whether you have a large backyard or just a small balcony, anyone can experience the joy of gardening. We'll be covering 5 simple but essential tips that will set you on the path to creating your very own green haven. For now, let's get stuck in. My first tip, and I can't stress this enough, is to start small. It's easy to get carried away when you're filled with enthusiasm for a new project. Before you know it, you've bought half the garden center and earmarked vast swaths of your plot for ambitious planting schemes. Begin with a manageable area. It could be a single raised bed, a collection of pots on your patio, or even just a sunny windowsill. The idea is to get a feel for the basics of gardening without feeling overwhelmed. Choose plants that are relatively easy to grow and care for. Herbs are always a good choice, and they're incredibly rewarding. Imagine snipping fresh basil for your pasta sauce or mint for your evening cuppa, all from your very own garden. Starting small allows you to learn as you go, build your confidence, and gradually expand your gardening horizons. Remember, every expert gardener was once a beginner, so don't be afraid to start small and learn as you grow. Now let's talk about the foundation of any successful garden goods soil. Think of it as the lifeblood of your plants. Just as we need nutritious food to thrive, so do our leafy friends. And that's where nutrient-rich soil comes in. It provides all the essential elements your plants need to grow strong roots, vibrant foliage, and bountiful blooms. When you're starting a new garden bed or filling up containers, using the right soil is absolutely crucial. Adding well-rotted compost or organic fertilizers is like offering your plants a gourmet meal. Compost, as you may know, is like black gold for gardeners. It's made from decomposed organic matter like kitchen scraps and garden waste. It's teeming with beneficial microorganisms that improve soil structure, increase water retention, and provide a slow and steady release of nutrients to your plants. If you don't have your own compost heap, don't worry. You can find bags of ready-made compost at most garden centers. When you're mixing your soil, aim for a good crumbly texture that holds moisture without becoming waterlogged. Remember, healthy soil means healthy plants, and healthy plants mean a thriving and productive garden. Chapter 3. Finding the sweet spot. Choosing the right location. Now that we've covered the importance of good soil, let's move on to another crucial aspect of gardening, choosing the right location for your plants. You see, plants are like people in many ways. They have their preferences when it comes to sunlight, shade, and exposure to the elements. Before you even think about putting a spade in the ground, take some time to observe your garden throughout the day. Notice how the sun moves across the sky and how different areas are shaded at different times. Most vegetables and flowering plants need at least 6 to 8 hours of direct sunlight each day to thrive. So that sunny south-facing wall could be the perfect spot for your tomatoes, peppers, and sunflowers. On the other hand, if you have a shady corner under a tree, don't despair. There are plenty of shade-loving plants that would be happy to call it home. It's also important to consider the mature size of your plants. By understanding the light conditions in your garden and the needs of your plants, you can create a harmonious and productive growing space. Chapter 4. The Art of Watering. Finding the right balance. Now, let's move on to another essential aspect of gardening, watering. It might seem straightforward enough, but knowing when and how much to water your plants can be a bit of a balancing act. You see, both underwatering and overwatering can spell disaster for your garden. Underwatering, as you can imagine, leaves your plants thirsty and stressed. They might wilt, their leaves might turn brown and crispy, and their growth may be stunted. Overwatering, on the other hand, can be just as detrimental. When the soil is constantly waterlogged, it creates an environment where harmful bacteria and fungi can thrive, leading to root rot and other diseases. So how do you find that happy medium? Well, the key is to water deeply but infrequently. Instead of giving your plants a quick sprinkle every day, aim to water them thoroughly once or twice a week, allowing the water to penetrate deep into the soil. This encourages the roots to grow downwards in search of moisture, resulting in stronger and healthier plants. A good way to check if your plants need watering is to stick your finger about an inch into the soil. Pay attention to your plants, and you'll learn to recognize the telltale signs of thirst. Chapter 5. Embrace diversity, the power of variety. Now for my final tip, and it's one that's close to my heart, embracing diversity in the garden. Just as a diverse ecosystem is a healthy ecosystem, a diverse garden is a resilient and thriving garden. By growing a mix of different plants, flowers, herbs, vegetables, and even fruit, you create a balanced and harmonious environment that benefits not only your plants, but also the wider ecosystem. Different plants attract different beneficial insects like ladybirds and lacewings, which help to keep pests in check naturally. They also provide food and shelter for a wider range of wildlife, from bumblebees and butterflies to hedgehogs and birds. Think about incorporating companion planting into your garden design. Companion planting is the practice of growing different plants together that benefit each other in some way. Embrace the beauty of diversity, and your garden will reward you with an abundance of life, color, and flavor. There you have it then. 5 simple yet essential tips that will set you well on your way to creating the garden of your dreams. Remember, gardening is a journey, not a destination. So get out there, get your hands dirty, and experience the joy of nurturing plants from tiny seeds to flourishing specimens. Thank you for joining me, and until next time, happy gardening.